Hello, boys and girls. This is the last week of February and the last week that we'll be zooming in talking about Black history. We've learned about so many people, from Rosa Parks to President Obama to Garrett Morgan. We've also talked about, who else have we talked about? Do you remember? We've talked about Mr. Johnson with the Super Soaker and all of those great people, Sojourner Truth. So today, and this week, we're going to be covering a couple more. We're going to do a book about George Washington Carver. Take a look at George Washington Carver. Here's a quick few facts about him. Who likes peanut butter? Peanut butter, yes, I like peanut butter also. It says George Washington Carver. George loved plants. He made things from peanuts. He won awards for his hard work. Those are 4 quick things about George Washington Carver. He's known as the plant doctor, and he's known for the peanut plants, which gave us peanut butter. George Washington Carver. Don't get him confused with President George Washington, okay? Names are similar, but he has an extra name, George Washington Carver, and he was brown, okay? All right, so there's another lady that we're going to talk about. Her name is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born a slave. She ran away and found freedom in the North. She went back to the South to help slaves run away. Later, Harriet worked as a nurse during the Civil War. Harriet Tubman is remembered as a brave woman. She did the Underground Railroad, boys and girls, and the Underground Railroad did not have anything to do with trains or tracks. Harriet went back to get slaves. Those were people who lived in places where they were told what to do, sun up, sun down. They couldn't be with their families, and of course it wasn't right, but that's what they had to do way back then. So Harriet Tubman did something called the Underground Railroad, and at night she would go from house to house, hiding the slaves and getting them to the other side, okay? Slaves were prominent in the South, so she would get them out of the South to the North. So this is a great story about how a brave woman helped over 300 people become free, okay? Now, the last person we're going to talk about is a story. I love this story. His name is Henry Box Brown. I want to read you this story. Henry Box Brown was a slave. He wanted to escape to be free. So Henry mailed himself in a wooden box. He went to Pennsylvania. 27 days later, he was there. I'm free! Take a look. Henry Box Brown put himself in a wooden box, boys and girls, and it got mailed. He got mailed to a state that did not have slaves, and so Henry became a free man. Isn't that an interesting story? But that's what makes Henry Box Brown famous and why we should remember him. That was a smart thing. He was very creative. Who would put themselves in a wooden box and mail yourself? So now it says, what was Henry Brown before he escaped? He was a slave. There's the answer. How did he escape? He mailed himself in a wooden box. How long did it take Henry to get to Pennsylvania? 27 days, almost a month, boys and girls. When you're reading this story, go back and answer those questions. But I hope you always remember Henry Box Brown. He was also a brave person. So, boys and girls, that wraps up our study with Black history. Remember Sarah Boone with the ironing board. Alexander Miles did the elevator. Mr. Stannard did the lawn sprinkler. We have learned so many different things, okay? All right, happy Black history and enjoy the activities.